Hey everyone, welcome to Tenacious Tuesdays. Gotta make sure I focus on the lens, not the top where I can see myself. So, welcome to Tenacious Tuesdays. I was supposed to record this so that I can get it out early, but yet again I procrastinated. But anyways, this is part 2 of the 2-part series about our decisions and how our decisions have got us to the point we are now, which was last week's topic. So now let's kind of talk about how this week, how we can move forward, how we can change the decisions that we've made thus far to, well, not change them, so to speak, but to change our mindset, do a mindset shift, kind of break those things that we've been doing in the past. So what your task was from last week was to write a list of all decisions you've made. And from there, also on the other side, put how that has affected your life, or you could have put why you made that decision. Either way, just make sure you have that written down. Make sure you have that sheet. And some things we're going to talk about is the why is the most important. Because if you rewind and you think about why you made a decision. So for me, one thing my husband and I talked about repeatedly is that, like, I want to go to med school. And why didn't I go to med school earlier? And I could have went to med school. And then I said, well, we got married and then this happened, then this happened. Those are a bunch of excuses. And I need to take ownership of what I did. And what I did was I cared a lot about what people thought. What people thought about, oh, y'all been dating for 3 to 4 years. Y'all need to get engaged. Y'all need to get married. When you get married, y'all need to live together. That was on the utmost of my mind, what people expected of me. And now we're having this discussion about how do we go to med school. And for me, I want to like widen my options of where I can go. So some things, some helpful tips. I just want to talk about moving forward to make better decisions, because every decision you make, like I said last week, will impact the rest of your life, no matter how big or small it is. Me saying hey to Justin when we were at Clemson and where we met, like, now look at us, we're married and we have a child together, and I have no intention of getting divorced. So with that being said, that one small thing in my head saying introduce yourself to them, he was with his group of friends, introduce himself, and then later down the road, now look, we're married with a kid and talking about having another one at some point. So with that being said, let's just talk about some practical steps on moving forward, how to make better decisions. One is to reduce the amount of decisions that you have to make, right? So a lot of times we as humans get decision fatigue because when we make a decision, we have to consider the parameters, what can happen. We talk about what's good and what's bad, and all this goes through our minds. And that's tiresome. That is just so like, when I think of how many decisions we make in a day. So this morning, had to figure out what my daughter was going to wear. So I went ahead and laid out her clothes for tomorrow so I didn't have to worry about that. I had to figure out which workout I was going to do this morning. I then had to figure out what she was going to eat for breakfast. And I had to get to work, and I had this decision, get home, what should we do, snack. All these decisions is decision fatigue. If you work in healthcare and you might be a nurse, they talk about alarm fatigue because alarms are constantly going off with patients, and it gets tiresome. So reduce the amount of decisions you have to make. If that means at the beginning of the week you lay out your whole entire wardrobe with a couple extra outfits, that's one less decision you have to make. There are some people, like my old boss, he was an awesome man. He would literally wear the same outfit to work every day. That was one less decision you have to make. So think about where you can reduce your decisions during the week so you have more room to focus on those bigger decisions you have to make. So decision fatigue, reduce that's number one. Second step is to actually figure out that sheet that we made. I think this is very important. You figure out why in the past you made decisions, because if they've been emotional, you want to figure out what emotions led you to that decision that you made, because our emotions play a big part in how we think, how we feel, how we act, how we go about doing our things day to day. And if I am at work and I feel anxious and I feel like I'm about to have a conflict with somebody, my first is fight or flight, right? It's either I'm about to send that email and I might ruin a relationship, or I'm just going to tuck my tail and walk the other way, right? So think about those emotions. When I told you that med school and I want to do what people expected of me. That was a decision I made because of emotions, not because of logic. I talked to Justin. He said we could have lived in 2 different locations. So I could have been a doctor. I could have went for med school. I could have gone and did these things. That was an emotional decision. And then the last thing is, and I think this is important too, and my husband talked about it on his little his videos that he's doing, and he does it daily. I am not that committed to this just yet. Weekly to me is enough. But the third thing that you can do is when you make a decision, you have to be willing to put your energy towards it. And he talked about it, but we got this idea from Eric Thomas and Carl and Jamal and Trey. What's Trey's dad name? CJ. So CJ talks a lot about when they made a decision, they put their energy towards that. And when they put their energy towards it, like other things couldn't take their energy. So when you make a choice, if you've reduced your decision fatigue, if you're trying not to act on emotions, your next thing is to make a choice that you know that you're willing to commit to. Because when you commit, that's what you need to put your energy towards. Other things, you have to be willing to say no. Because there are going to be things when you make a choice, when you're going down this path, that are going to try to bombard you and knock you off. But you have to be willing to say no and put your energy towards that. So that's my part 2. That's all I got for you today for your Tenacious Tuesdays. Woo-woo. Just making decisions, making choices, because at the end of the day, it's going to impact not only you, but it can impact your family and your friends. Like the people that played the lottery, it seems so minuscule. It seems like minimum, but those people that made $1 million, whose lives did they impact? It didn't impact theirs. Now you have these vultures coming at them. But besides those vultures, those people that were close to them, they're benefited because they won the lottery, and might have been only $2 that they spent, and they won millions. So just think the decisions that we make play a major part in where you're going to go in the future and how you're going to impact your family and your friends. And I don't want us, you, me, anyone, to make a decision that they're going to regret at the end of the day, no matter what it might be, no matter how big or small it might be. I just don't want you to make a decision that you'll regret. So if you made it to this video, thank you for sticking with me. This is 6, 7 videos in, maybe like 4. I really don't know. I'm not counting. But thanks for sticking with me. I flipped the channel a couple weeks ago, and I'm about to flip it again to a different email to kind of go with the blog. I need to get on that. I'm consistent with these videos, but I'm not consistent with my blog. So I'm going to work on that a little bit more. But my goal is to transfer these videos one more time to match the email I plan to do with my blog. So just stick with me, bear with me. This should be the last change that we're going to make. And thank you. So a recap of what we talked about, our decisions. We want to reduce decision fatigue. We want to know what emotions we're acting off of. And last but not least, we want to, when we make a decision, we're going to stick with it, because there's things that are going to bombard us. They're going to try to knock us off our course. We're going to stick with that decision. We're going to keep pushing forward. We're going to put our energy to it. So thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me for another Tenacious Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hey, you got to Tuesday. Let's get over Wednesday and let's make it happen. Bye.